Hello! So I'm just going to do a quick video about different approaches to scoliosis exercises. So we have two main sort of approaches out there, even though there's loads of different programs, and kind of see it as a yin and a yang basically. So are you in the yin camp or the yang camp? So you've got to ask yourself, what is scoliosis? Like, studies are showing that we're hyperextended with scoliosis, and a lot of us are over lengthened, and that is why the tissues, soft tissues, become deformed, because they are over lengthened and hyper sort of lax ligaments, and the tissue collapses. So we're over lengthened and extended, with our bums stuck out, and the head is sort of back. So we have the new approach, PRI, which is all about getting us back into flexion. And there's lots of these ones, like the main one that you see is where you're lying. I don't remember what it's called, but you're lying down and you're pushing your hips up and you're like imitating, and it's all based on imitating the fetal position in the womb, and the nervous system develops that way. So a lot makes sense about it, and people are getting results with it. Some people, but some people not at all. And also that technique, interestingly, is only based on the normal S-curve, the one that's to the right and the left. So because that way follows a natural movement of the fluid, and the organ system and the way it goes spirals in the body anyway. So that PRI the exercises are sort of based around our fetal development and how the fluid flows and the nervous system organises itself. And it's a very yin approach, because it's putting your body into flexion and the organs and everything into a compression state. So we've always known that everything is balanced in the universe. We've always believed in the yin and yang. And now science is proving that the body is formed from yin and yang. And we have the yolk sac, and we have the nervous system, and then we have this primal streak in the middle, creating this two yin and yang, which fold over and form into the fetus. And we are formed, obviously, in water, in all the sacs, and it's like within the mother, so it's considered very yin. So yeah, lots of people are getting results from this new technique of PRI, which is very clever. However, to think that scoliosis is only about hyperextension and lax ligaments would be illogical when we know that everything has an equal and opposite reaction in the universe. So really what is going on underneath are hyperextension and our lax ligaments. Not saying everyone has lax ligament with scoliosis, but depends on exactly where the curve is, and how it's formed. But in the majority of cases, science is showing that that's why it's more common in women, because women have the elastin in the hormones when they're going through puberty, and have more estrogen and elastin than strong collagen. But yeah, it's I totally interrupted my flow. So yeah, of course, if we're hyperextended and over lengthened, there's probably a crushing and a forward, because if you look at the hunchback, like the traditional posture is hunched over, and the bones are being crushed and squashed and compressed. And then we're over lengthened. It's like a spiral recoil. So the way I see it is we're going to flexion, and we're getting this side bend, coming from the lower back where everything's crushing. And then it's the upper back that will spiral like a snake. It like recoils up and spirals round. So this is why we sometimes, the biggest curves are the ones that are like in the thoracic, where you're getting like the biggest recoil of spiral, and because there's probably the biggest crushing in the first place. So really, the PRI method is great, But if I was starting out, I would begin with the traditional Scrofe method and more traditional yoga styles, which are more yang. And they're, because of course, they're all about lengthening and tensioning. And we know now that when the limbs grow in the womb and the lungs, they are all under compression to start with the fluid and gravity and they grow and they create tension and length in the body. So this is what yoga is all based around, because as we overcome the compressive forces in the universe, we create cell growth and regeneration in the body. So really the Scrofe method of like, you're going at all different angles, you know. Some methods will only allow you to stand up, like they do everything against gravity, like, because they don't, you know, the traditional methods are showing people lying down at all angles. But yeah, for this reason, because of the gravity and the falling, you know, the falling going on underneath with the bones, you really want to be overcoming gravity all the time, and holding and tensing and lengthening and fixing the limbs, the shoulders and the hips. And then that's creating space in the lungs, because that's how the limbs and the lungs grow in the womb, overcoming the compressive forces and lengthening, and then it gives space for all the cells to regenerate and regrow in the body, because they're always dying and regrowing. And yeah, that's basically the yin and yang of scoliosis. And then there's lots of different programs that I think combine different things, but I don't actually know specifically what's in each program. So it would be great to find out a bit more, like exactly what's involved in each program. Do some interviews with people. I know some people have already done interviews online. But yeah, I'm totally interested in balance of everything and going with all approaches. This is why I always studied both yoga and Tai Chi and Pilates, and you know, I always wanted to sort of discover the whole picture with my scoliosis, and this is why I look into the organs as well. But yeah, I would always advise to start with yang stuff, with overcoming gravity stuff first, and then the yin stuff like the PRI. Also the stuff that I do in water with herbs and the bathing is very yin. You've got to be careful with that, not to overdo that too much, because you don't want, the worst thing you want is the body, the structure to collapse further. So you really always, especially if you've had surgery, because you don't have as much control at all of your muscles, be really careful then. So like if you've had surgery, your soft tissues need the bathing, they need the fluid and the blood flow so bad, and the massage and all that, but you don't have much control. You have to do little bits at a time, really little bits, and always be pulling up. So it's like I imagine that the yang, like always look up to God, be the mountain, you know, but always make sure you work on the yin as well. Make sure you balance the yolk sac and the ectoderm out, and then allow space for the mesoderm and everything in between, which is what grows in between the organ system and the nervous system in the womb. That gives that space then to grow in the place, like all the bones and muscles to grow in a shape that's going to be like better for them to function, with more space to function, more air to breathe to get in. So yeah, this was just a quick introductory video to my exercises, and I will demonstrate some exercises in further videos. Thank you very much. It's from my therapy room.